in this episode.
The rest of the industry pisses me off to no end.
Oh, you don't say it ain't so.
Like, it drives me fucking nuts because if someone's like, well, what happens when, I have to get out of a vehicle for, I'm like, your daughter's on OnlyFans. What are you talking about?
In an obtuse world, Mark and Jefe will combine military, law enforcement, and general FUD knowledge to keep you vertical. Welcome to the Live, Laugh, Larp podcast.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Thanks for swinging by to another edition of the Live, Laugh, LARP podcast. We really do appreciate you guys swinging by. We've got a pretty awesome guest, someone I've been talking to for the last few months, and I think this is going to be something that will probably interest a lot of you guys, especially for you gear nerds that are out there who are interested in finding something that's going to be not only effective but affordable at the same time. We'll get into that here in just a second, but before we get into that, we have to say hello to the co-host,
the unfortunate co-host.
The
captured.
Is it
really?
Is it really that bad?
I sit in this fucking basement and drink light beer.
You get to come over and drink as much beer as you want.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But no, I am fantastic. I just got back from a miserable 4-day field exercise, so. Feeling extra salty, extra grumbly, and I'm ready to talk to internet strangers.
So my understanding is, as you mentioned, is that plate carriers and kangaroo pouches are only meant to carry magazines when you go to the range.
It really hurts. I'm unfortunately still in the reserve, so watching guys they'll just put their flicks on, don't have anything on it, and just put like a magazine in it, or even worse, the guys that purchase whatever they can find on Amazon for under $45, and it's it's not multicam, it's the not multicam, and again
the Temu
cam, and then again they have nothing on their kit. It's just they have webbing and maybe like a magazine pouch. So
yeah, I'm going to detour before we even start. Do you guys wear the
taps
carrier and then the taps over it?
No, I do. I have my taps set up for like longer sustainment stuff, and then you gave me what was that, Agilite?
Yeah.
The
K19.
K19.
Yeah.
That's what I use for.
You're still using it?
Yeah, still using it.
Yeah.
Didn't use it this weekend because they take your plates away every time. So I don't have any plates for it. So.
Okay. Well,
we'll get into that.
We're going to get into that.
We're
going to dive real deep into that type of stuff. But before we get into that, we need to say a huge thank you to our title sponsor for this podcast, and that is going to be Excess Sights. I have just started looking for another set of sights once again for another new pistol that is going to be featured on the channel here pretty soon. But it's one of your favorites, I guess.
One of my favorites.
Yep.
It as boomery as it sounds, all my revolvers that I carry have excess sights on them. Ever since I put a excess big dot on a small J frame, and it just changed the game. And then Lipsy's has their the ultimate carries have the Lipsy's revolver sights built into them, so there's fantastic upgrades. Looking at getting one for the Glock 19 because I still got the plastic sights on that guy. So again, absolute wonderful sights, absolutely great. I enjoy a blacked out rear with a big colorful either orange or green front sight, and XS does it for affordable prices. And we have still have it.
Oh yeah.
Discount code
LARP. Yeah.
LARP for
20% off.
That's 20%.
Yes.
That's a lot of money, guys.
Yes. So definitely check XX Sights out. They've been around for a long time. I know that Curtis from VSO channel talks about them all the time. I first learned about them from the legend freaking James Yeager. With Tactical Response back in the old days. He was a huge fan of them. Regardless if you liked him or didn't like him, he's who freaking basically turned him on to me. So I really think that that's pretty cool. Plus, as mentioned, one of the new firearms, one of the new pistols that I just got in, Smith & Wesson TRR8.
Oh, you finally got that in?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I got it. Yeah. I'll show it to you.
We'll look at it.
Yeah. But The front sight is just a brass bead.
Brass bead.
So I need to swap that out.
Why don't you just put one of your Acro Pro or your Aimpoint Pros on it?
No, I was going to put the Siley Bear.
Oh, that's lame. Anyways,
Excess Sights. Thank you so much for sponsoring the channel. And again, if you guys are interested in saving some money, 20% off using the code LARP. But before we get any further, let's bring in our guest and say a warm welcome to Rebels Raiders. How's it going, Rebel?
Hello, Fit and Fire. How y'all doing?
Good. We're doing great, man. So just for those who are listening, we are recording this on the 31st. Tomorrow is when this is going to go live. And this mad lad jumped in at the last minute because Jefe and I looked at each other and we're like, hey, we thought we had someone and that fell through. And oh my goodness. And so thank you so much for making this happen in the bottom of the ninth.
I appreciate that. I got on this podcast the same way I get on my dates. There is literally no one else to go out with. So
that's not the intent. We wanted to make sure that we had you on the show. We just didn't realize it was going to be, hey, we have a show we're going to record here in about 3 hours. Can you come on?
No, it's okay. That is literally minus the recording part what the last date said to me last week. So it was fine. It's okay.
Oh, good.
I'm messing. It's good. No, I'm messing around. It's fine.
So Rebel, who are you? What do you do?
My name is RèBÈLs RÄIDÈRs. I'm 28 years old. I like long walks on the beach, romantic candlelight dinners, and I really want a man to take care. Oh, wait, no, sorry, that's my other job. No. So I'm RèBÈLs RÄIDÈRs. Yeah, I am a gear manufacturer, new brand guy. So where I got my start from was a company called Kanai Pro Gear. I was hired off a Craigslist ad that says, "Do you like airsoft?" And I came in. And then I actually applied for the wrong job. Well, I applied for a job over my head at the time. Not really, but over my head from what they wanted. But they liked me because I didn't shut up about the Battle of Kanai. I learned from Rome Total War. So whenever one of your boomer parents says that you do things that get you nowhere, they can suck it. So anyways, they were impressed with me in the interview. So they said, well, let's just hire him on. I worked at Kanai Pro Gear. After 6 years of hard work, dedication, and really grinding, all the investors pulled out and left me jobless. So after that, I got my own job as a marketing director in a medical field. And then I started RèBÈLs RÄIDÈRs when I found out that Kanai Pro Gear had a 40-foot container full of gear that, long story short, I still don't quite understand why. It just wasn't sold. So then I bought it myself, launched the gear, did really well, took that money, and then reinvested it into my own brand new line of production, which launched basically a month ago on the 26th. And I sold out of that container, another 40-foot container of my own gear, sold out of that one in literally about 3 weeks.
Was it 3 weeks? I thought it was like something like, well, at least for the Valkyrie plate carrier, I thought that was like a matter of what, 7 days or something.
This actually pisses me off. The Vicarian, the Apothecary, and 95. So the Vicarian and the Apothecary were gone in 4 days. So basically the overwhelming majority of my stuff was gone. Like literally 99% was gone in those 4 days. And then the rest of it, honestly, this is my fault, was more operational, if anything, because the way the stock, it's just my fault. It just basically the rest of the stuff just trickled out. And basically what trickled out was just backpacks and slings, just trickled out for the next following weeks. So the fact that I even have to, now the thing is what I just discussed, if I did this at 5'11", I could have just whipped my dick out and put it on the table and been like, give me $40 trillion. They would have been like, fine. Like if I had done that for literally any one of their products, like just one product, I would be like a god there. But right now I'm like, well, no, it was technically 4 days. I have to like really like make it like technical.
Yeah.
But the answer is almost the overwhelming majority of inventory. We did about 2,000 packages in 4 days. Jeez. And then the rest of it kind of just trickled out on what was left. And most of that was just me adjusting stock numbers and making sure it was right.
And you're just
kept saying sold out, sold in, sold out, sold in for like 2 weeks straight.
And you're just a one-man show, right?
100% one-man show. Even the laptop. So you guys saw my setup that I'm talking to you on right now. I actually have a laptop, which is from my time at Kanai. When the company closed, this was my severance. So the laptop I'm talking to you on is an Acer Swift 3 from 2020. If you guys want to know just how old 2020 is, it's main point of why I bought it in 2020 was because it had a 256 gigabyte solid state drive. So, I was like, whoa, that's huge. Now, a 1 terabyte solid state drive is basic. And also I actually have it running through an HDMI cable into the Dell monitor, which was the warehouse computer. And this sound, did you guys just hear that sound?
Yep.
Was actually the ZP505 label printer, which is from 2016. So everything I'm talking to you on right now is at least, so this 2016, the label printer, which you just heard print a label, is at least a decade old. And all the computer technology I'm talking to you on is from Kanai, which is at least 5 years old, if not earlier.
So what I'm
So
hearing,
yes, I'm a one-man show, and also my iPhone's 11 Pro Max. So everything I have is a one-man show, and everything is fucking old.
It sounds like you're very thrifty. Is that the right word?
Yes.
Or
so
stingy.
thrifty. I don't even pay myself from Rebels Raiders.
Oh,
Rebels Raiders is very profitable, but I haven't paid myself any money out of it.
Okay, so let's talk a little about Rebels Raiders. So what is the so after Kanai shut down, you started your own brand. Tell us like how'd you get from, I guess, selling a 40-foot container of somebody else's stuff to making your own stuff and selling the 40-foot container of all that stuff?
Yeah, so like everything in life, this is kind of what I start to babble, and if I do, you can just say, hey rebel, come on. So to answer that question, I try to get it like succinct.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Kanai is where where I cut my teeth, right? Mm-hmm. And when I found out whatever it is I do, clearly which is probably the only talent I have in life, besides like a propensity for cancer and male pattern baldness, right? The only talent I seem to have, that was a joke. The only talent I seem to have is like, I can kind of get an audience. I'm not Luhan where everyone's just going to be paying for my bathwater, but I can kind of get an audience going. So I did that at Kanai. I built it that way. And then people generally seem to like the interactions they have with me. Maybe it's the way I talk to them, because even on Twitter right now, like I posted a topic about tariffs. Mm-hmm. And, people have disagreements and they disagree with me on a few things, but like everyone's respectful. And I don't know, you can probably look through my comment chains across any social media and you're like, dude, this guy never gets into it. Like everyone's just talking. So maybe the way I go about things attracts a decent audience. And from there, clearly when I'm at Kanai, you can see there's a need for people want cost-effective nylon. They do. And even in my head, I'll admit to it, it's hard for me to process sometimes, because I go like, when people go at the end of the day, it's not like we're making a car. It's not like we're doing Lambo versus Civic here. So for example, if you look at the Vicarian plate carrier, right? Realistically, you could spend the extra $150 and get yourself a Spiritus, right? It's like $150. Now, the reason why I mentioned that difference is that's still a lot of money in the immediate. But when you think about 5 years later, you're like, well, $150 not that big a deal. But for people at the moment, it is. So my point behind that is people really wanting cost-effective kit. And then on top of which, that cost-effective kit not being what you guys rightfully brought up earlier, which is just Chinese Temu fucking garbage.
Yeah, right.
And then on top of which, not only that, but then, which is what disgusts me across the board when utilizing any sort of free trade, is then making the stuff like that and then charging the same amount as you would like the American stuff. Yeah. And that maybe my mind's a little bit on that because I'd had the tariff discussion, but that really grosses me out and I don't like that. So going back to the other part where you look at it and then you say, okay, people like the cost-effective stuff. And then when I sold the last of so Kanai was popular and people had the bags. And one of the things you have to look at is, and I'll tell a good story about when I went to SHOT Show in 2024, which is actually when I met the guy who runs the factory. He's a South Korean guy, and that's Richard. I'm at SHOT Show 2024. So Kanai had already went out of business, right? And I just go to SHOT, and I already had my medical job that I have now, marketing. Mm-hmm. And I go to SHOT Show. I literally stay at the Circus, which I'm pretty sure is like a hotel dedicated just killing yourself. Like I think
it really is. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure like they're like when I checked out of the Circus, they were appalled. They're like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm checking out." They're like, "Oh, you didn't kill yourself." Like, "Oh, that's cool." Like, they were kind of surprised that I checked out.
Oh, look, a returning customer next year.
Yeah, they're like, "What the hell?" So I'm at the Circus and I go to SHOT Show. I'm not even if you guys, I'm literally giving the exact details so people know this. If you exit Circus on the right hand side, there's McDonald's. So I got myself a McGriddle and a cup of oatmeal that I get. And I drive into the Venetian parking lot. If anyone doesn't know, that's where the SHOT Show is held. It's at the Venetian's expo center, the Sands, right? So I park in the Venetian parking lot. As I get out of my car, literally, that's it. Left the hotel, went to McDonald's, get out of my car. The car that pulls up in front of me, right? You see the typical tactical look. So the hat, the jacket, the Tacoma that says "fuck you," whatever, right? The two guys get out, the guy gets out, and then of course I get out of my car, just get ready to go to SHOT Show. The guy has a Kanai Legion on. Like, right, like I like the car that parked in front of me, like the car pulled up in front of me, and the guy gets out and he has a Legion on. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, so I'm like, so I'm at SHOT Show where literally everyone wears some sort of tactical backpack. And I pulled into the Venetian, and I am repeating myself to state this. I pulled into the Venetian at random, and I'm getting out of the car trying to throw all my McDonald's trash in the bag. And the guy in front of me, the two guys that get out, have a Kanai Legion. One of them has a gray Kanai Legion on. Right?
Yeah.
Now, when you see that, you go, the company is out of business. Again, even though it's 2024, it's still a little fresh in my mind because it's January of 2024 and I just sold the stuff in December, right? Like I just had my launch just a few months ago. When you see that, you go, okay, maybe there's something there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because if I walked around SHOT Show and I said, what was 6 years for? Later on in SHOT Show, I saw about 3 or 4 Kanai bags on people's backs. And now, not just like, oh, I thought I did, I verified it because Kanai had a big logo on the sunglass case. So when you look at that part, there's also another political part I wanted to bring in. But when you look at that part, you go, okay, so in 6 years at SHOT Show, I saw 4 bags. One of them literally happened in front of my face as I got out of the car. Right? Yeah. Why wasn't that a 511 bag? Why wasn't it? Because the answer was a lot of them in there were, but they have a $300 million, market cap, probably close to $1 billion now. Not at 2024, they probably had a higher market cap.
Yeah.
But the point is, they've been around forever. And when I get out of the car, now it could be happenstance, it could be chance, but that's interesting chance, right? And I mean, this literally happened where I get out of the car and it's a Kanai bag. And so then when you say, well, actually the chances aren't that high, Kanai was popular. And I go, well, yeah, that's my fucking point then, isn't it? That's the internal doubt in my head where I go, well, then the chances aren't that high that you run into a bag. Your bag was very popular in the industry and you're going to an industry show. And I go, well, okay, then there's something there, isn't there? Right? Like you have to look at it. Either if it's purely chance, then you go, well, there's something there. And if it's not purely chance, then there's something there because that means it was popular enough for people to buy it, which meant that you would most likely run into it. So
absolutely. Yep.
The free, everyone likes to make whatever arguments they want to make, but the free market dictates. So when I see that, we're good to go. And then here's the next part. And I'm probably actually saying the more offensive things I've probably said ever because I just don't care anymore. So I actually met the manufacturer. He was actually checking out other booths of other gear that he makes. And he's like, oh yeah, I make, what's the one? Victos. You guys know Victos gear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So my factory makes that stuff too. So I saw Victos gear and I said, hey, this stuff is pretty good, but a lot of Victos is kind of GWatt basic, in my opinion, from what I saw. Maybe they have another catalog, but the stuff that I saw was very kind of basic. And I said, if I gave you autistic level ideas, could you do it besides this kind of basic Omega-6 thigh holster horseshit? And he was like, yeah, I can make more advanced stuff. So I said, okay, well then give me your stuff. We're going to do it. And he's like, what? I'm like, give me your car. We're going to do it. Right. And the other part is, which contrary to most people expectations, I live in Southern California and I'm from West LA. Now, where that ties into is I have been exposed to massive levels of wealth and privilege. And by privilege, I'm not talking white privilege or anything like that. I'm talking like people with hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And then they look around and say, I don't know why people have TVs in the hood like that level. So one of the reasons why I bring that up is you kind of learn that if that's all your friends, you become depressed because no amount of money will ever equal that. So then money actually on the other end of the spectrum loses all value because you go, well, I'm never going to get there. So who gives a shit? Mm-hmm. So then I was like, yeah, this factory's fine. They make good stuff. They sent me some samples. I liked it. And I was like, okay. So then when they gave me the bill for the next container, I was like, yeah, so if I had, because I made good money on the Kanai drop that I'd done before, you sit there and go, I could spend all this money, right? And it could not work.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. I rent rooms, I drive used cars, and I'm a loser now. So if I spend all this money and it doesn't work, guess what happens? I drive used cars. I rent rooms, and I'm still a fucking loser. So who cares? Who cares? What's going to happen? I don't have any money. I have all this money now, and I still don't have any fucking money. I'm in Southern California. I have to have 10x this amount of money just to be poor. So who gives a shit, right? What's going to happen? Oh, it all goes away. So I do it again. Now, here's the sad part: is even after that, I actually then more or less doubled that money now. And I'm still like, I don't have any fucking money. I still don't have any money because I'm in Southern California, right? So it's like, yeah, come back to me when RÈBÈLs RÄIDÈRs has made $50 gazillion, then you can think about renting. Like the joke I make is like, Southern California man lands $1 million contract, can finally afford apartment. Like that's kind of right. It's like when the Marine Corps picks up the apothecary, it's like, yeah, finally I can afford a studio apartment, like with roommates. So that's kind of realistically, that's the story. The story is not as much hustle and grind as it is like, okay, yeah, sure, cool. The actual story is like, if you want to do this, just play video games and have no responsibilities and be thrifty as hell, like be cheap as hell. That way you have enough money to start a business. And when you have money from your business, just put it back in the business because you're too cheap to enjoy anything anyways. Does that make sense? Like it doesn't.
Absolutely.
Yep. That's it.
Well, my question though is why Southern California?
Here's the thing. Every other place on this planet is a dump. It is like a dump. It really is. And no one wants to say that. Everyone wants to be mad about it. But here's the thing. And right now, if California, and I get it because I'm not a fan of the gun laws either. If the gun laws in California were gone, would anybody wouldn't half the industry be here? Like if the California gun laws were Arizona, they'd be here.
Yeah, for sure.
They really, right? Because what the fuck? Honestly.
Well, let me back up. Would they though, with the tax situation? I mean, you've got people like, you've got Elon Musk. They left California. You've got people like Joe Rogan, who is an individual but has a very successful brand. He left California as well. So the tax situation is what I would be most concerned about when it comes to a pretty large company,
And by the way, that's the reason why I'm leaving too. So I just shit on my own. The answer is like, yeah. I mean, realistically, is like there are like some, but the rest of them stay, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, by the way, I mean, that's what California is. What California is the Amber Heard of states. Yes, she'll cut off your finger, and yes, she'll shit in your bed. But have you ever seen her ass when she brushes her teeth? It's very nice. Right?
I haven't, but okay. I'll take your word on it. I'll take your word on it.
Like I have, but here's the thing: Amber Heard cut off Johnny Depp's finger, and that bitch still stayed in his house. And by the way, Elon Musk was Johnny Depp's best friend, and she literally left Johnny Depp's house and drove right up to Malibu and went into his. So it's not like they all knew what wasn't going on. But the reason is I'm from Southern California, and I actually enjoy it here. Like I do. I don't live in LA currently, and I wish I did, because out here is just a fucking hellscape of partial rural, whatever the hell, where traffic jam is 4 cows, and I about to go lose my fucking mind. But the answer is I like the beaches. I actually, okay, because I'm going back to Southern California question. I'm a conservative guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I actually like being around people I disagree with because I fight them. Because when I go to industry events, I get into it with people there because everyone agreeing pisses me off to no end. Because when you go to an event and someone's like, I don't know how I can live out in Southern California, all them communist homosexuals. I'm like, yeah, what is communism to you? What does that mean? Tell me the definition of communism, because I'm pretty sure my state pays for whatever fucking state you come from, right? Because over across the board, Oklahoma takes in more tax dollars than it gives, right? So then that really pissed off the audience when I said that. But the idea is that I like being, now the thing is I don't say that with the liberals here, I argue with them. But being around, like, if people go, don't you want to be around people who agree? No, I don't want to be around people who agree with me. What the hell is that about? I want to fight them all day. I like it. I like the idea of when I hang out. Well, when I say hang out, it's just me. But doesn't anybody like the idea of a gun guy, a tactical gear guy, having a house in the Hollywood Hills?
Yeah, it's Chris Pratt.
It's Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. Okay, Chris Pratt's an actor, and he lives in Malibu. But he's an actor, and he just likes guns. None of them are like, if you had a tactical gear industry guy isn't that funny to anybody? Isn't that funny to be in Santa Monica with a 1-bedroom apartment looking at the ocean? Like, what do you do? Go, oh, I do tactical gear. I'm super into guns. They're like, wait, really? I thought you just did weed or whatever the hell else it is that everybody else does out here, OnlyFans or whatever. Like, no, I'm into guns. That to me is like far more interesting than being like, oh yeah, I'm into guns. I'm into Tennessee. Yeah, welcome to the club. Everybody else is.
Yeah.
Right? Like everybody else is. So, I mean, I'm not saying I'm some culture warrior, but I don't know. I don't like being in places where everyone's the same and saying the same shit and thinking the same. Obviously, there's shared beliefs, and then you go to but I'm like, yeah, but everyone's saying the same thing. Everyone around you agree with. Everyone around you just regurgitates the same shit. That's boring? Isn't that like boring to everybody?
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
That's me. So again, if the gun laws got better here, taxes do suck, obviously. But I'm like, dude, if I could keep doing what I'm doing right now and be living in Santa Monica, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Okay.
That's me. I like the beach, dude. I like just looking at it. But where am I actually going to go? I'm going to move to Republican Florida, where I just shitted on everything.
I was just getting ready to say Florida has beaches.
Yeah, I'm going to have to move there, right? Because the situation, at least financially, is untenable. So everything I just said is absolute horseshit. Yes, you could say it is. I'm just going, yeah, I'll probably move to Republican California, which is just Florida, right? Yeah. So yes, well, at least I'll go to Miami, so that way I can hang out with the OnlyFans and scammers and really learn what life is about.
Just get yourself a Flipper Zero and start skimming some cards, man.
Dude, I'm getting a tan. I'm getting buff. Because I can do it now. I'm gonna sell e-commerce courses. I'm doing it all. I'm doing it.
You could also sell some law tactical folder knockoffs.
Is that what they do?
Yeah.
Why can't we combine crypto and Gen Z scammer with tactical? Like those would be great.
I think they have already kind of done that already. I mean,
like, don't you want to see me with like a goat in a high rise in Miami and be like, yo, it's all about the grind, it's all about the hustle, it's all about my boy Lucas Bakken. We out here hustling and grinding.
I would say right? that you just described about 90% of the YouTubers that talk about guns and tactics.
Really? I thought everyone was talking about God and like how you have to have, how you have to have 5 kids on your ranch while they go out and bang like 40 other people.
Oh, I mean, yeah, well, yeah, that's all about it's like the conservative hustle. It's like, hey, get married, have 1 million kids on a ranch, but you don't believe it because it's all fucking grift.
Right. Well, I said that before, but I mean, and I'm saying this across the board. I mean, it's about going back to like agreeing. I'm like, well, I'm about to say this on Twitter. I'm like, does everybody get like their information on these accounts? Like, really, you're going on to like Insurrection Barbie or Ashley St. Clair for your information? Like, is anyone under coincidence that all these people are now right wing when I don't know, when none of these people were around, but now that it's popular to do that, now that it's beneficial to do that, now all of a sudden these people are popping up.
Well, the only reason St. Clair's important these days because she just had a kid with Elon Musk out of nowhere.
Right. And Elon Musk is now touting family values or whatever grift they want to put out right now. I have
no idea who that person is.
She was just
reporter, some Twitter handle.
Yeah. Reporter, political pundit, maybe.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, it's just like that. Someone on Twitter who goes on and says Zelensky's a gold digger when she's in the back room taken in the ass from Elon Musk and asking for $500K in child support. It doesn't matter. But my point is, I think Crypto Bro and Tacta Bro can combine. Like, I don't see why not? Like, why are those like shunned? That part I don't understand.
I think it would have to be kind of the
Well, first off, you'd have to get all the tactical bros to understand what crypto is to begin with.
I thought everyone in this industry was into it or not. I get lost. By the way, Kanai and RÈBÈLs RÄIDÈRs, but Kanai was one of the only tactical industry ones that take crypto, and RÈBÈLs RÄIDÈRs does. And I think I've had 2 crypto transactions, but I thought the entire industry was all about the system collapsing and decentralization. I thought they're all about that.
No, it's about selling you cheap products that they're going to find a niche use for, and then sell it to you for like $500-600 and tell you you're going to die in the apocalypse if you don't have it.
Hey, I got to get on that. Shit.
Yeah, that's what you. Hey, yeah. Well, we could talk about that, about the stuff that you need for the apocalypse, because we have it actually right here.
Oh yeah, I probably should talk about my gear instead of my ramblings. Yeah,
well,
I actually have stuff to sell. Well, not really. It's all sold out, but I actually have a brand besides whatever dumb opinions that come out of my mouth.
So let me touch on that real quick, because we've talked about your plate carrier, the whole setup. You said that it's sold out so super quick. It'll be back in stock. Is that correct?
Yes. So right now there's a few things I'm going to change on it, but what I call them is production changes. So it's just like little production things that I want to make different on it. But the carrier is staying the same. But yeah, I'm working on a possible summer restock of the carrier and bringing in multicam and M81.
Okay. So before we go to talk to us about, we have right here the entire the plate carrier flick micro chest rig kit, and then we also have your back. So let's talk about the pretty much the infantryman's kit for $250. Talk to us about that. What
Absolutely. So it's pretty straightforward. When it comes to plate carriers, I'm going to say it, and everything's kind of the same. It holds your plates, and then basically you can configure the front and rear plate bag to do a few different things. Generally speaking, there's actually someone says in the comment, there's multiple ways to skin a cat, but only 2 or 3 are any good.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So realistically, you saw the plate carrier, it's the standard stuff, right? And I probably shouldn't say that on my own like product, but when I'm being honest to say like, yeah, there's a place for the clips. There's a place for your identification field, which I made laser cut moly. Then there's a row you can attach to people's placards in the back. It's like a plate carrier, right?
Yep.
Realistically, and this is where it comes from. If you look at my gear, and I'll be honest and say it, we've been on for 30 minutes, and I should have talked about this earlier. The rest of the industry pisses me off to no end.
Oh, you don't say it ain't so.
Like, it drives me fucking nuts, because if someone's like, well, what happens when, I have to get out of the vehicle for, I'm like, your daughter's on OnlyFans. What are you talking about? What are you talking? What are you going on? Like, I'm like, I was in the Marine Corps infantry. I got out. I mean, I'm 6'6", and I got out of my fucking Humvee just fine. And I was only in a Humvee like once. I never deployed or anything. But I'm saying is, I was able to get out of shit just fine. So then when I heard all this, and then I like got really more into it, I was like, how much are people charging for a fucking H-harness? What is this? Right. And then on top of which, when everyone became, Safariland holster finder circa, year 2013, where you basically had to have an MBA in advanced like physics and theoretical geometry to figure out what fucking holster you needed for your gun.
Absolutely.
Right. I think they've gotten better at that now. But I was like,
terrible.
dude, all of this shit, like, I don't want to have this discussion. I really don't. Like, when someone's discussing, like, well, you need a rig for vehicle ops versus I'm like, yeah, yep, you sure do. I was like, just put it all together. And then on top of which, when you look at gear, what pisses me off is this is across the board, is when you try and simplify your gear, you can't. Because nothing like works with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Molly, the military kind of figured that out with Molly, right? The modular attachment ladder system, or however the hell they want to spell the acronym.
Right.
But the point was, it was like, Yeah, no, it was just like, here's a grid system. You can mount whatever you want. So then the rest of the industry said, well, let's go proprietary. Let's have our own zippers. Let's have our own Molly spacing. Let's make sure that our own products don't work with the Gen 2 version of the product. Right?
Yeah.
And I believe, now the thing is, I'm off on my Gucci gear. So I do believe a few companies currently do that. Right? And then on top of which, when you look at it, you're going, wait a minute, Rebel, you're like kind of all over the place. But I'm going is, I got a fucking box on the Black Friday special. I paid like $500 for T-Rex arms, right? So when I say $500 a fucking nylon, I want my UPS driver to be struggling to deliver that fucking package. Right? I want, when that gets off the fucking truck, that package better be the size of a fucking motorcycle. If I just spent like $600 on nylon, right?
Absolutely.
I got the box I got from T-Rex Arms was a fucking size of was like something I would send my friend when he was in Afghanistan, like a medium size USPS postal mailer, like an all-in-one whatever, a flat rate box. And I'm like, oh yeah, here's a plate carrier, a shingle, a sling. And I'm like, this is $600. $600 is in here. And I don't give a fuck. Everyone gets mad about what I'm saying. Is I just go like, it's $600 in here, right? And I'm looking at this going, I can do better. I know I can. So there it is. Like there it is me going, I know I can do better, and I know I can do it. And this brought up my last point is going, I can find a good way to manufacture this. And here's how I accomplish doing this better. I simply will just make less. That's it. Because it's greed. It's all down to greed, right?
Yep.
And then I had this debate on, now maybe it's fresh in my mind, but people go, well, people are doing 3 to 5x, and I go, yeah, they're doing 3 to 5x on the American made goods too. That's how business works, right? Then I said, no, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get this stuff not in China, made in Vietnam, and I've never hidden that. It's literally on the fucking website. Yep. But I don't source anything out of China. I don't even source the materials out of China. It's all out of South Korea. If you guys look at my buckles, I use Woojin Plastic, which is a very good company, but they're made in South Korea, not China. So I didn't even use Duraflex because Duraflex, I know they say USA, but they're out of China. So anyways, I don't make anything out of China. Stuff's out of South Korea. And I even avoided the multicam that I have coming up. I'm even buying that from American company because I'm avoiding the because by the way, Cry has a multicam license in China. I don't think anyone knows that. Like Cry does business there. Yeah.
Okay.
So Cry has several factories in China that make it, which is where you get the Chinese multicam from. That's official. So I don't even work with that. Like the official stuff that Cry said you could use out of China, I don't even work with that. I got the USA made stuff because I don't want to work out of China. Anyways, the point is going, sorry, I went a little tangent there. Going back is I go, I know I can do better and I can provide the value. And then, so I went through a basic plate carrier design. The actual Vicarian is from Kanai. It's based off an improvement off an Emerson FCS, which is what I got. So I got the Emerson FCS and made my changes to it. And then the Vicarian, this is kind of the Mark II because the original one came out under Kanai. And I was the principal designer on that. So I made the changes that I wanted to. So realistically, it was the idea that you get all this kit, and then when you spend, by the way, it's $240, and very few people even paid that price. Almost everyone got it for $215.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
When you get that, I want people to go, okay, he's using, and I'm not, but the joke is they go, okay, this guy's using like sweatshop labor. There's no way, right? There's no fucking way he got, and I'm sure Fit and Fire can see, but there's no fucking way he got this quality, and there ain't children working in that factory. And I went, no, look at it, 100%. Factory's up and up, good to go, massive industry factory. So it's all fair practice, all fair trade, the whole thing. And that fucking thing is good to go. And then the answer was, I make less money on it to get good gear out. And,
see,
and
I was going to say, that's good to see, because my day job is I'm a pricing analyst. So my job is to crunch numbers day in and day out and look at profit margin. And there are two different types of ways to go about it. You either have your strategy that is cost plus. So you spend X number of dollars in producing this, and then you need to make a certain percentage of profit over and above that. So you just take your cost, add that percentage, and that's what you sell it for. or you do something like, say, Sony does. Sony is a value-based company where when they price something, it is based off of what the market will dictate that they will pay for. So in this market, in this quote unquote tactical industry market, this plate carrier could very easily be, at least $300 or even more based off of what I'm seeing that you've done with the design, the stitching, the accessories that you have added to it, the fact that you can take the placard off and attach it to your H frame and it's ready to go for just a minimalist kind of placard, that you're going to have. That right there, everything that you've included, easily $300+.
If you put a Warm and Fuzzy logo on it, probably $700-800.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have your backpack that you sent out, which is really awesome. I haven't had a chance to get it going as of yet, but this coming weekend is Clash Bash, and it's going to be out there with me along with the plate carrier that I'm going to be running through all the stages. And that is on your website, I believe. I think you said you weren't going to re-up the backpack. Is that right?
Yeah. So the Phoenix, as it currently stands, I don't think I can, because there's a 17.5% tariff on backpacks.
Okay.
Out of Vietnam. And then with that part being said, it really, I don't lose money on it, but it's simply too much. Mm-hmm. So that then you go, wait a minute, but I thought which goes against the next part is there is, and by the way, you guys can see with the pricing, it's not like I jacked the pricing up to do it. I'm going, that one definitely has to turn into a far more of a volume game, or I have to remake that one as it currently stands.
Yeah.
Because with my low margins, I just can't afford an item that bleeds me like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for a bag that's 16 to 2,000 chicken nugget rating, like for that price, I mean, you just can't. You can't be making that much money off of it.
No, that's the problem. Because basically, that is the problem, right? And this is where, again, when I talk, I try and apply nuance to anything I'm saying. This is where you have to balance your ability to bring value versus company solvency.
Right.
Right. So I can absolutely, because you said cost plus. If it costs me $10, I want to make 30%. It's going to cost me $13.
Yes.
Or I can, like you said, the Sony version, which is if it costs me $10, hey, that's fine. It's okay if the tape recorder is $15 in the, or it's $12 in the market. I'm going to do it because I want people to have value. So the answer is I actually can do that. I'm just going right now. It's simply just too expensive to manufacture for me to be like, hey, it's okay for me to do this one. Does that make sense? Because then eventually when there's a lot more, if I'm a lot bigger, then the answer is I can just look at that one and go, okay, this one's good. This one I can just put out and keep going and be fine with it and be like, by the way, that's what 511 does, right? Yeah. 511 says, okay, we're going to charge $80 for pants, but on the backpacks, as long as we're not losing money, we're good. Yeah. So right now I need to get, I'm on that a little bit. I need to get to the next financial level with the company to say that for that item. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
For that one.
Yeah.
Because it comes off as greedy, because you go, well, if you're not losing money, then what's the point? And then it goes against the overall brand point that I've made. So I try my best to apply the nuance to say yes, but at the volume necessary for that to keep up, I basically wind up losing money on it.
Exactly.
At a lower end. So the answer is essentially, I lose money on it. So then that's why no.
I'm gonna interrupt. Sorry.
Yeah, of course.
Did you test this chicken nugget rating?
Yes. So I tested it on the original. I tested it on the Phalanx Duty Pack, on which that one's based. So I have not put 2,000 chicken nuggets in that specific one. But the thing is, it's a 37 lever bag with similar dimensions to the Phalanx Duty Pack from Kanai. So then I just go, it's the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's the actual dimensions of that, between that and the phalanx are like almost identical.
So out of curiosity, what's the story behind it?
Almost.
What's the story behind this rating? Like, there has to be
I just thought it was funny.
Okay.
I just thought it was funny to put chicken nuggets and stuff.
Yeah, and going back to the price cost analysis piece of it, because this is where I kind of nerd out a little bit. But one of the interesting little facts that a lot of people don't even realize is we see all the time that companies will say, hey, 10% off this week only, or whatever the case may be. The reason for that is they're hoping to generate more volume to make up for that discount. If you reduce if you reduce price, not cost, because cost and price are two separate things. Yeah, and that's one thing that took me a long time to get set in my head. Cost is what you're buying it for. Price is what you're selling it for. You have to take those two terms and make sure they're not interchangeable. So if you reduce price by 10%, you have to increase volume by 30 to 33% just to break even. And
there you go. See, so he broke it down a lot better. That's what's not happening with the Phoenix.
Yeah,
basically that.
Yeah,
I can't get it to the volume. I can't get it down to the volume that I need, especially because, to be honest, that was the slowest. Now, when I say slowest selling item, I mean we're talking 3 weeks for a 40-foot container. As
sure.
Fit and Fire can tell you, I'm pretty sure that's pretty fucking insane to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, a whole 40-foot container in like 3 weeks.
No, it is. And by the way, before I got into pricing, I was in logistics, so I was like tracking containers all the time, and I am very attuned to how much stuff can be put into a 40-foot container,
especially nylon. I bet.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Fit and Fire knows exactly what I'm talking about. And with that part, I got a lot. So the answer when I said the backpack is slow, yeah, it's like. You're talking about it's slow compared to Usain Bolt in the fact that, yeah, you didn't sell out in 4 days, but I really got to do a better job like Trump would do. Because when I talk like this, it's not good for marketing. Because when you talk like this, but it's a nuanced point. But when you talk like this, it doesn't sound good. I got to figure this out. Because I always do this. I always compare it to something too high. And then it's because when you hear this, doesn't sound, Lucas wouldn't talk like this. There, they'll say that. So I have to stop myself. The long story short is, as of right now, I might still do it. The Phoenix just doesn't match the value that I want to bring, and pretty much cost me money, basically.
Sure.
So more or less cost me money to do. So that's why it's very hard to do. The sling, the med bag, and the plate carrier. The med bag not as much, but the sling and the plate carrier all are fine. I don't lose money on those. So I do okay. The plate, the med bag, I more or less break even on, more or less. Just a little bit above. But people really like that one, and I like it, so it's good. But the backpack, it's like, yeah, I just for right now. But sorry, go ahead, continue.
Are you looking at doing like a version 2 or kind of like a downgraded version? Like what's the
not a downgraded? What I like to do with that one is basically so if you look at it, I'm going to do some changes to the front where I'm going to make the beaver tail helmet part removable.
Okay.
But it's going to come as a kit, so it'll come with 3 pieces of paracord that you can, but all the bags will have the tabs on it, so you can mount your helmet carry. Put Molly in the front. Right now, there's no Molly because your helmet would be there, but I'll put Molly in the front of it, and then I'll make an admin pouch, which you could then attach to the front of it. That way, you can put pens and pencils and more compartments to make it an EDC bag. I'll take the 2 9x6 pouches off the side, add Molly rows. That way you can put whatever you want, and I'll probably remove the hip belt and make that separate. And that way I can just sell the frame of the bag, which is still a good bag, and then say, here's the frame. And then you could pick if you want to go with the EDC part or the helmet carry part.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that way the price goes up. But then again, the answer is it goes back down to the same thing. But my point is maybe if it wouldn't, because if I separate those things, I could probably still have the frame come in as under a tariff, but then the helmet carry and the pouches might come in under something else, which actually might make the overall thing cheaper. Does that make sense?
Yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, because I bring the pouch in. Like, let's say I make 500 EDC pouches. It's like a big rectangle that fits in the front of it that you could put your pens, calculators, and pencils in. Maybe that coming in, the cost that it cost me, that might only get tariffed at like 3%, right? So then when I combine it with the backpack, it's not going to be as high as the whole thing being tariffed at 17.5. Does that make sense?
Jesus, is it really 17 for backpacks?
The 17 and a half per backpack, which is why I got to drop the tariff thing because I've been arguing all day on Twitter. It's been on my mind. But
no, it's good information.
Well, it's one of those. It's a very relevant thing because I bet you until about November, October timeframe of last year, most people didn't even think about tariffs, and now you can't even have a discussion with talking about tariffs. So 17% coming into the U.S. on backpacks.
Yes. That's not a Trump tariff either. That I'm not saying that to defend it that position. That is actually one that's been there for a while, but it's 17.5%. Yeah. So, and by that, just so everyone understands what happens when the container hits, they look at your customs order, your purchase order, and they go, "How much did you pay the factory?" And you just say $100,000. They go, "Okay." And what item is it? You have to have it all categorized.
Yep.
And if let's just say it hits it's the backpack code, they go, "How much did you pay for backpacks?" Let's just say I'm just making some numbers, $100,000. They go, the government then says, customs goes, "Pay us $17,500 or we're not letting you take."
Correct.
It seems so weird. I can understand some things like cars and some like electronics, but backpacks, that seems just a really high number for backpacks. Is there like a story behind it, or in the?
Well, and as you can tell, because these tariffs obviously have brought back tons of backpack manufacturing to America. Mm-hmm. Clearly, it's working because everywhere you go, there's backpack factories here.
Yep.
That's me being sarcastic,
right?
But I don't know. I don't know who got it. Again, that's not that. I'm not defending. I'm not trying to say it's to blow cover. That, to be clear and fair, that's not a Trump one. He did not. That's nothing recent. It's been around for a while. I didn't know it was that high, to be honest. That's been around for a while. I don't know where that came from or what that was about. I think, like anything, it's a protectionist piece, but I'm trying to think of protectionist for who? Where is the great American backpack manufacturers? Is it like Eberstock or something? I guess I don't know. Maybe the Eberstock lobby got involved. I don't know. I have no idea.
Big backpack, big U.S. backpack.
Yeah,
got
big
involved.
backpack. Yeah.
I can't even think of U.S. based besides Eber or Eberly Stock or whatever they are.
And Mystery Ranch, but I'm like, don't they all kind of rely on government contracts anyways? And didn't Mystery Ranch go out of business?
Yeah, they went. Yeti just bought them, I think.
Right. So that I'm assuming it's that, or maybe my retarded factory, did the code and I got fucked no matter what. Well, I don't think so, though. I don't think so.
Which you should do, and I'm not advocating crime, but you should do like what China does, where you order gun parts and it says bicycle parts on the box.
Oh, yeah. Customs really loved my Rebels Raiders logo of Rebel with the goat, right? And it says Rebels Raiders. They had a great time with that.
Yeah, let's see all this like be ungovernable, but I'm going to pay 17% tax on this one.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, that's literally on my LLC document. It says become ungovernable. It's like 17%.
Right here on the Mark hasn't taken the tag off of the backpack, so I'm looking at it right now. It says become ungovernable with your goat character.
Yep.
Yeah, read the tag. It's a very good one.
Okay, so I'll read it out loud to everybody. In 2016, I got hired to work in the warehouse of a brand new tactical gear company. 6 years later, it went out of business. So I started my own company, the Lipsies. And now I'm making the same mistakes. The goal of Rebels Raiders has always been to get people quality gear at good prices. Oh, good GUD prices. And I'll also light a Lamborghini on fire just to prove how pointless this all really is. So when does that video come out?
That is when I actually learned how to make money because I keep repeating the same mistakes. So I'll get a Lambo and burn it. And the point I'll make will be one of the rejection of luxury. And I'll burn that Lambo. I planned on killing myself at a Demolition Ranch Range Day event, but he's not doing this anymore. So
R.I.P.
But
Brandon Herrera, doing like a Brandon Herrera event, maybe?
I think Donut Operator actually does one.
Oh, okay, perfect.
That's the one I'm talking about. He does that Demolition Ranch's ranch. So maybe that's when I went to. I like to do it there. Like I had the idea of them just like shooting up a Lambo. Like I drive my Lambo to the edge of because Demolition Ranch, they blew up a Humvee that he had, right? Mm-hmm. Then he repaired it actually, I think. But they shot up. I was there and they went like full auto on a Humvee, right? So I was like, well, what if I drove my Lambo there? Because a lot of them all had Lambos and shit there. They have the Lambo Urus and all their, all their raised trucks.
Mhm.
So I was like, well, what if I had my Lambo and I just drove up to the front and I was like, no, Matt. I talked to Matt and I'm like, Matt, let me just destroy my Lambo. Fuck that thing. He's like, what? I'm like, I'll have a Lambo. I will drive to the berm. I want everyone to shoot it. Right. And then when everyone just goes ham on my Lambo, they're all taking their dumb little Instagram photos, all their stories like, oh my God, I'm so cool. Oh my God, use promo code, blah, 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 blah. And then it's all done. And then I run up to the top of the car and then I'm just jumping on it and it's on fire. Like it's all just destroyed. And they're like going, rebel, rebel, rebel. They're just cheering my name. I go, that's right. I fucking got it here. I built it. I'm not good looking. I'm here over all you motherfuckers. They go, rebel. I go, fuck all of you. And I just blow my brains out right then and there. In front of them.
But right before it happens, you wake up.
No, I just Glock 20 underneath the chin in front of everyone.
No, 21.
Classy.
Come on, 21. 21.
Right, I have both, so I can choose what I want. But
why not both?
I like that, but then the thing is, once that happens, that video gets like 30,000 views on YouTube, 2,000 views on Instagram, and then someone drops a Taps rig version 2, and then nobody cares. So that's what I like. So the burning of the Lambo video will happen when I have the money to get a Lambo. And I'm looking very forward to lighting $300,000 on fire and literally nobody even watching the video. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's going to be, 2,000 views on YouTube will be great.
Yep. I mean, well, welcome to Fit and Fire's YouTube channel.
It'll be good. But how about I do 9mm versus 45? Revisit it. Let's see how many views that gets. Sorry.
Are you sleeping on the 40 Smith & Wesson?
No, I think everyone is. I like how you're like, is this guy, does he like his company?
No.
He just seems to be very angry.
Well,
anyways, go ahead.
No, it's definitely one of those things where you bring out like a lot of great points about this industry. And it sounds like have you ever read the book How Not to Make a Backpack Company? It's the guy who created Go Rucks. I don't know if you've
I know Go Ruck. I never had one, but
he has a book called How Not to Make a Backpack Company, and it sounds exactly what you're experiencing. It's like, hey, it's all this makes no sense. I have no idea what I'm doing, but yet people are still buying my shit for some reason, and I'm happy for it. And but he doesn't talk about blowing up a Lando or offing himself, but
so I got to go back to the gear. That's the point. But
yes.
So going back to the realistically, and now here's the other half part, the non-crazy part of the idea behind the gear. Like this is okay. So there's like the crazy part that I said I got to work on my branding here, but then there's like the realistic. It goes back to like a part of it was my father was around during the 1990 riots in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So when people talk about patrolling their neighborhoods, like you got to patrol your neighborhood I'm like, my dad's done it.
Yeah.
My dad walked around his LA apartment with his Ithaca and a 1911 on his hip because the riots were happening.
Yeah.
And I look at that and I go, well, I want my dad, who's not going to be on the back forums looking up the newest and latest NIR ratings for nylon, right? Or having intricate, detailed fights with people on Reddit about Velcro. I want someone like my dad in the 1990s to go, hey, I want a plate carrier. I want this stuff. I want good stuff. But I have a kid. I have 2 kids. I have a wife. I have an expensive apartment, right? And by condo, I should say, and just a condominium in LA. It wasn't like luxury. But I want someone like my dad in the 90s, in this case, probably 30 years ago, right? To look at that and go, okay, I can get this. I can protect my, so there's a serious other part, like the actual real part that people want to hear is you go, yeah, I can protect my family with good stuff.
And I think that's a big gap. There's a big gap in that sort of that space because again, you mentioned it several times. If you go buy like a Spiritus, a Faro, the Slickster's probably about as cheap as you can get, but then you're losing out on a lot of things on the Slickster. But for your price point, it's very hard to beat an entire front and back bag, 3 shingles, and then you can also just turn it into a micro rig, if you will, because I didn't look at it yet, but I bet you if I go on Spiritus and buy this exact same kit, it'll probably be about $700.
Yeah, you're looking at $700-800. So yeah, for everyone not if anyone listens, the Vicarian comes with the go over the whole thing. Is we've got front and rear plate bags, shoulder pads,
nice shoulder pads too.
Yeah, single stage placard, 5.56 insert, 7.62 insert, 3 retention tabs, a retention cummerbund with retention cummerbund, and then I included the H harness and fat strap that you could utilize to turn it into a micro rig with the delete key. And what people don't really understand, but if you explain it, is there is a Velcro wallet that you could actually completely remove your plate bags and attach the cummerbund into the rear of the Velcro wallet and then run it to the front on yourself or onto the placard itself. And now you have your own recce rig.
Okay, I was just looking at this thing. I was trying to figure out what it was.
I'm glad that you just explained that to me because I've been looking at that for weeks now, and like I have no idea what the hell this thing is.
Oh shit! So maybe I gotta do more videos on this. I hate filming. No, so clip the H harness into the top of it.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Yes. H harness.
Yeah.
So the back of the H harness.
Okay. I see what you're pooping there.
So and now you clip the placard into the H harness. Now wrap your cummerbund around, and now you have a belt rig, a recce rig.
Got it. Okay.
So
now with that and that insert with the 5.56 insert and retention tabs, you can now carry 7 magazines with an IFAK and a radio on just your cummerbund that exists off the plate carrier and the placard.
How'd you come up with this?
That's a brilliant idea.
That's cool, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Like, how'd you come up with that?
I saw the T-Rex Arms Ready rig.
Yeah.
And I said, God, this X shoulder harness is gay as hell. And then I said, wait a minute. I looked at it and I was like, I think he just ran his production overrun cummerbunds and he sewed it onto this back of this thing. So I said, well, why don't you make the back of this thing just a wallet? Right? Because he has it all as one kit.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, well, just make the back thing separated and then hook it into your existing H harness system that you already have for a micro rig. And it worked.
Yeah. No, that's
I was looking at that thing for about 45 minutes while about the past hour. Like, what the fuck is this?
I guess I got to do more videos. I guess so. Jay Infinite Media does my videos. I was supposed to do some over the weekend, but I don't like spending money on it.
Yeah.
So I guess I got to do more videos, but I don't like doing them. No, don't.
You know, it's almost like if you knew a YouTuber that could do some videos about your plate carrier and everything that came with it, and then show a how-to, man, if you could just figure out,
I like that, but administrative results doesn't take my phone calls. He blocked me on AOL Instant Messenger.
Well, didn't the kid at Civilian do a thing over your
Dirty Civilian did too. I love Dirty Civilian. Absolutely love him. By the way, for everyone watching, Dirty Civilian paid full price for the gear, even though I offered to say, hey, you can pay at least a sale price. He's like, no, he paid the full price. No promo code, no affiliate code. He did it. I believe he wanted to look at it and was just like, oh, I just want to see where it was at. To be honest, I think he was just like, hey, I know you like goats. I kind of like you. Let me just look at it. He was probably expecting to like return it and be like, hey, dude, this is ass. I'm not doing a video on this. And then he was like, I love it. He didn't even tell me did he? I think he just like, dude, this is great. I'm doing a video. That was it. Like, so for Dirty Civilian, literally no money was exchanged, nothing. I mean, well, money was exchanged. He bought it. Like no promo code, no scratch my back, nothing. Just straight up. I like it. I'm doing a video on it because I like it and I like you. That's it. So yeah, he got it. And what was great was even in the product overview video, Dirty Civilian didn't know what a few things were for either. Like on the backpack, he removed the clip from the rear and put it in the front. I'm like, no, it has pass throughs, so you don't have to do that. I'm like, fuck, my gear is too autistic, even for autistic gun people.
You're too good at it, man.
Well, they call it a spectrum for a reason.
Like that, I guess that wallet, in my mind, I just thought of like, yeah, just put your cummerbund on it because it's all the same shit. I guess I gotta do more videos explaining it over. I guess I gotta just do more video. I just don't, yeah, you're right. I know what you're saying, Fit and Fire. I'm just like, I just don't like, dude, I have like degenerative disc disease in my lower back. I sound like an old man, but I'm like, dude, every time I film, my back hurts. And I just go like, okay, yeah. Like the video would just be me 3 minutes of just going like, so anyways, let's discuss international trade. Like that. I don't really, I'm like, all right,
Let's talk about Schedule B numbers and how they impact tariffs.
Yeah. Like that's kind of what I want to get into. I don't like, yeah, that's because you can probably tell. It's like, but anyways, so that's where it came from. I looked at the T-Rex Arms Ready rig and I realized it was proprietary for no reason. That's it. And so then I was like, okay. And then I got the concept, the idea of something that just, because that's all he did was sewed a shingle into his cummerbund and made it one piece. So I was like, well, then why make this a standalone piece? Just make an adapter that you could substitute for it. So then I came up with that. To be honest, I don't think two things. There's two pieces of gear that are underrated that I've designed. No one's going to give me credit for it. Okay. On the Vicarian, the single stage placard, you can look up the date. Now, I'll be honest and say, whenever this video gets out, anyone, like I said, there's multiple ways to skin a cat, and only a few are good. That being said, if someone discovers a new way to skin a cat, most likely someone else is going to discover it too. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The single stage placard, the most ardent gear nerd can look this up. Mine came out because the Vicarian launched with it. If you go on the internet search, if you go to a Wayback Machine, I believe the first person to come out with a single stage placard, at least as the industry knows, I think was Spiritus with the Mark 1, I think. Okay. The Vicarian predates that.
Interesting.
Now,
how does that work?
How did that work? Yes.
So the Vicarian came out all together. I never sold the Paladin placard separately. I still don't. In Kanai. Okay. So the single stage placard came from me looking at the Emerson FCS, which I think is, I don't know, I think the plate carrier of the Emerson FCS might be based on the original Slickster, I think. It was, and it had a kind of knockoff. What's the plaque that everybody had? It has it's two together, and you put like one in the front and one in the rear, and it has like a flap, like an Aben flap. You can do. I think that's the same Spiritus design. I think. I don't. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? It's like the one from like 2018.
Where
the original micro chest rig that everyone ran that had it was a placard, but it was two things.
I'll have to look it up.
If you guys remember original placards, now we don't think of it that way, but originally placards were always two stages. They always had two slots.
Okay.
Right? And
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, like the Spiritus where it has like the back where you put all your mags, and then the front has like a little pouch in front of it.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Okay. So I looked at that one and I said, well, this is dumb. Why have two? Just have one and then make the one in the front, make the sides Velcro, or even if you don't want to. But that way you can just then put Male Velcro on the front, like basically get rid of the front. That way you just have one rectangle, one pouch to put your insert in. And then I said, just make the front of that Male Velcro, and then you can stack your placards infinitely. Right?
Yeah.
Then I believe around the same time, Kiwi dropped their placard, but it just had Velcro on the front, and then it just had 3 mags, but it wasn't interchangeable. Right? It was the S-Tac Kiwi placard that they had. So I said, fuck yeah, you could just do one placard. You can just have a single stage, and then you could stack placards and then put all the inserts you want in front of it. You don't have to have two as one. So when the Vicarian came out, right, that placard hit the market. I'm sure the most ardent of gear nerd would disagree, but I'm not wrong. At least it hit the market just before or the same time I think Spiritus released their Mark 1.
Huh. But the Mark 1
it's never going to get credit for that, which is fine. That's my fault for not marketing it that way.
Yeah.
So that single stage placard, the Vicarian, the original one from Kanai, the all black one, was one of the first ones to have that to the market. I don't think Spiritus announced the Mark 1 until the following SHOT Show, because I relaunched the Vicarian, I believe, somewhere in December of 2020, maybe a little bit before that. Spiritus launched their Mark 1, which was a placard with Molle Velcro on the front, a single stage placard, in January of 2021, I think.
And I apologize. I don't know much about the Mark 1 because I have a Mark 2, and that one's a double stage, so I didn't know.
Maybe I'm wrong on the model because all this shit gets mad. Whenever the idea of a single stage placard came out, the Vicarian was one of the first ones on the market to have it. Before that became an industry, I'm probably off on the marks there on the numbers. Yeah. Before the industry had, now maybe I'm full of shit. Maybe I'm lying. I'm just saying before the industry had like that, like just a placard being an insert, just one stage, one insert, it was almost always two together. It being a single insert was like not a thing.
Yeah, now you say that, like I remember when I got because I had a Mark 4 that I traded for a Mark 2 on accident. And I always thought it was fucking annoying because you put your mags in and then you had that front like little kangaroo pouch where you couldn't really put anything in. Like they always had like pistol mags and like a flap, but nothing fit in that flap area, and the pistol mags sucked because you're just so
floppy.
I wouldn't even say floppy. It was actually, for me, it was too tight. Like I couldn't get the mags in there. And then if I was trying to grab them, I'm like fighting my fucking AR mags. So
yes. So now, if the most Argent of gear nerds, I'm not going to die on that hill. Yeah. And I'm open to being wrong, but I'm saying is the original Vicarian was one of the first to come out with, one of the first, maybe by a date it's off, but is in that area, the first come out with a stage 1 placard. Easily in that first realm of companies to do it, or Kanai was with the Vicarian to do it.
And did you have like a big hand in the development of it, or how?
I did the Vicarian completely myself.
Okay.
So like I said, I bought an Emerson FCS off eBay, and then I just worked off that. So I have never, the only Gucci product the only quote unquote Gucci product I've held in my hand has been a Cry JPC for about 30 seconds. And then I think my friend gave me you didn't give it to me. I think he had, when I say gave, like I handled it.
Yeah.
My friend Nolan, I think he had no, that was a JPC. My friend Eric, who also worked at Kanai, he was one of the warehouse guys. He had a Faro FPC.
Yeah.
Whatever I think it's called. Something that had Cobra buckles on the shoulders. I thought it was stupid.
Yes.
But is that a Faro carrier?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the only ones I've ever like seen. Other than that, the most other plate carrier that I spend most time with is an AC1. And I leave it in the corner of my room and I stare at it at night and I project hatred onto it.
Does it stare back?
Yeah, it does.
Okay,
I leave it. It's like my Jumanji game in the garage that it just taunts me, and I just leave it up and I run around freaking out around it. But my point is, so that the reason why I bring up my entire tangent is the stage 1 placard is something. I'm not gonna say I came up with it. I'm just saying I was one of the first to have it out. Again, realistically, when it comes to tactical gear, it's not like anyone else is not thinking of this shit anyways. Okay. Like I said, multiple ways to skin a cat, only a few are good. And if there's a new version, it's not going to be that different from the other version. And most people are going to think of it anyway. So I'm not going to run around and say about like I'm some genius. Not true.
Well,
to my knowledge, I don't know if anyone's doing that Velcro adapter like I am. I don't think so.
You're like your butt wallet one?
Yeah, the wallet one where you can take your cummerbund. And by the way, you can use any carrier, anyone's else Velcro cummerbund. You can pop theirs off and put that on. That works.
Yeah.
Right. And on my H harness, the female clips on the H harness, unfortunately, the males can't be because of the way they're constructed, but you could clip it. The females are removable. So if you have anybody else's buckles, you can put that on. But I chose the Woojin plastic. I think it's the Woojin plastic UTX, Universal Tech Lock, whatever the hell they call it, because that one fits like 95% of male buckles on the market.
Okay.
So you should be able to grab everybody else's placards and throw them in. So the reason why I say all that with schizophrenic zeal is that nothing on that's proprietary.
Right. And then in addition to that, you didn't use Cordura, which is what most people would expect. However, you used the South Korean, I guess, competitor to Cordura.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Codra. So basically Cordura is both a brand and a process. So what you have to do is the one part where I'm going to get it wrong, because I didn't quite understand the first part, is in order to have Cordura, you have to basically, long story short, you have to buy the stuff from Cordura to make Cordura.
Okay.
Got it.
Now in South Korea, what they said was, and then once you do that, you have to pay the licensing fee to Cordura to do that.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that basically you pay for the name. So, and I think Cordura did this, right? I think Cordura is the one who supplies this. I never got confirmation on that. Basically, what they're making out of Korea to compete and to get more people into it, they claim in some cases it's stronger. I don't know if that's true. Honestly, it held up the same way when I tested it. I think it's the same thing. What they do is they basically just take the same stuff, but they don't brand it. They use, okay, I'm gonna use the word seed. Whatever the seed yarn is to make it, they use the same one, but it's not from DuPont. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then they use that raw material to make the nylon, and it's Codra. So basically you save a few bucks on production because you don't have to pay the licensing fee. But on top of which, you're also not stepping, it's also business proper, right? I'm not ripping, it's not a direct ripoff because you're not using their name. And on top of which, you are using the same material. So you're just saying, hey, you're not claiming that it's Cordura, right? I'm very clear about that.
Yeah.
So how that happened was the price differences probably the price differences are pretty good on that because the licensing fee is decent.
Right.
When I got my samples, which is pretty much what you have in your hand right now, right? I love my samples. I was like, okay, this stuff is good. What I remember was when I got done testing on my samples, at the end of the day, my hands were always raw from fucking with the gear all day, right? And I was like, oh, fuck, Rebel. Okay, yeah, all right. Obviously, this is the Cordura stuff, so just pay the money and get it, right? Whatever. Like, I don't know if it's going to work, but pay the extra money and get the Cordura. And I said, okay, all right. I told the fact, I was like, clearly these samples are Cordura because this shit's rocking and my hands are like literally, I think like my hands are like on the verge of bleeding because this shit's so good. I'm not even fucking kidding you. Like, I'm like, dude, my hands are bleeding from handling this so much. Just make it in Cordura. They're like, no, that's our factory's Codra. I was like, wait, what? Like, oh yeah, that's our nylon. That's what we do. That's our like thing. And I was like, holy shit, really? They're like, yeah, that's the Codra stuff. And I was like, fuck, make it in this. This is awesome. Like, this is great, right? So realistically, what it is, it is supposed to be Cordura's competitor. Basically, it's their South Korean competitor, and it's cheaper. That's it. And how it's cheaper. So just to be clear, how it's cheaper is literally the price difference is you don't have to pay the licensing fee to Cordura.
There you go.
So you wind up saving $2 to $3. Usually depends on the material, but you usually save $3 to $4 a yard. And then when you're ordering thousands of yards to make all this, adds up.
No,
Yeah, absolutely.
that's what's
But
always
it's not, again, to be sure, just to be very clear, I'm going to repeat myself. It's not a just as good situation where you go, well, it's literally the same stuff. It's just not, you just don't use the name and you don't have to pay the licensing fee, basically.
If you didn't tell me that entire story, I would not even think this was not Cordura. Like I'm literally just finger fucking this thing right now, and I can see why your hands get raw and bloody. This thing is, I mean, the
good, right?
Yeah.
I'm under the impression they're not saying it. What I'm under the impression that they're doing is what they're doing is they're getting the materials and they're doing it. But then what they're saying is, well, we're just not going to call it Cordura. That way we don't have to pay the licensing fee.
Yes, you just call it.
believe so. They're still buying the same raw material. They're still doing it, but what they're just saying is, okay, well then we're just not going to pay the licensing fee because we're not going to use the name. And then Cordura says, okay, well if you're not using the name, then fuck off. We don't care, right? They don't care because you're not. If I said Cordura, now we have a problem because it's not right.
Yeah.
Now, by the way, you guys are looking at it. Could I have easily just said Cordura and nobody would care?
Yeah,
no one would even know.
No one would even know. Like
easy, right? You couldn't even. You'd have to do a forensic analysis of my accounting to find out that it was Cordura. So, 100% open and honest. Yes.
Yeah, but you don't say it's Cordura. You say it's what?
Codra.
500D
Cordura. 500D nylon. Still, it's all the same shit. Literally, it's just the fact that you don't call it Cordura. I don't have to pay the licensing fee.
You just remove the U. That's all you do.
Yeah, and then I basically transfer. You remove the U and add a K there. Remove the U and replace the C. Because get it, Kodra, Korean Kodura.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Get it, right? So basically, I do that and pass the savings on to the customer. I don't pay a licensing. That's it. So maybe it is just as good, but it doesn't matter. The answer is you just don't pay a licensing fee to Cordura. And again, to be ethical, it is not a ripoff because I'm not claiming it's Cordura.
Nope.
So
Yeah.
I'm not like I'm claiming it and then not paying them.
Yeah, I don't see anywhere on here. You know, I've seen a lot of these. You probably heard us talking in like the pre-show. I'm so part of the reserves. I had like a 4-day range and some sticks lane stuff, and the amount of people that bought the Chinesium, Amazon plate carriers, the LBVs, they still had the Kodora tags on them. Granted, you could easily tell that, you know, a swift wind and a little bit of rain is going to melt that fucking fabric away. But I don't see, you know, you'll see a lot of these companies put the Kodora tag still on it somewhere, so you have or at least, you know, say it's Kodora. But
so
yeah.
what you're saying is the Rolex that I bought in the middle of Baghdad, Iraq in 2003 wasn't actually a Rolex.
Back.
No, it was a Rolex. I'm telling you that 100% was. No, so I mean, and I say this as clear as I can. I try and be as honest as transparent, because I go, well, then there is the right way to look at alternative materials, but then not sacrifice on quality, then pass those savings on. No. And if you look at that, I go, that's not just blowing smoke. You can take a look at my gear, and I've proven it.
Yeah, and this stuff again. Mark left me the plate carrier, the whole setup over here in your backpack, and it's definitely.
By the way, in the future, if Cordura makes me a good offer and I go to Cordura, I'm gonna just mention. I'm not even gonna make it. I'm not even gonna fucking make it like a mark. I'm not even gonna be like, oh, I'm just gonna be like, oh, it's Cordura. Yeah, okay. Like I'm just gonna be like, okay, yeah. To me, at this point, those fabrics are interchangeable. They're just a name.
So I guess the next question is, what's next for Rebels Raiders?
Like, yeah, exactly.
Well, so here's my next part, and what you said is actually a problem. One, I need to stop talking. I need to stop, because I mean, one of the things about being one of the more, which I don't like saying this word, but being the more value-oriented brands is you never get anyone to actually talk to you, because it's just some foreign company who's on Alibaba, right? You don't actually have someone behind it like I am. Then the next piece with that is I need to work on the marketing of the gear. I really do. I really, really do. And I'll be honest and say that I know you guys have a backpack. I don't like doing the whole get free stuff for reviews, right? I spoke to Fit and Fire. He was really cool. So I panicked a little bit about the backpack. So I was like, okay, yeah, it has a backpack, but whatever. It's all sold out. I don't like doing that. I don't like doing promo codes. I don't like doing affiliate links, right? And I just don't like doing it. I'm not saying I don't have anything necessarily against it. I just don't like doing it. So I have to find a way to really become the center point of what I want to talk about when it comes to the gear, which means like right now when the gear's been sitting there and you guys are gear people and you go, hey, I don't know what this fucking Velcro wallet is for. I go, fuck. Well, then I got to stop making Space Marine memes and do that and talk about that.
I do love the memes though. That's probably like, if you're doing one thing very, very well outside of making affordable gear, the memes have been fantastic.
Yeah, and well, thank you very much. I think I've lost my way a little bit recently. I really like doing my white background comics, but those don't do as well anymore. But so what's next is I just got to keep building on the success. There's like a 99% chance I fuck this up entirely. So I have to build on the success. So the next one is more colorways for what works, right? So the next thing is, okay, so then the next 52 videos I need to make until my next restock, right? One YouTube video a week. I need to make Vicarian videos. And if I got to do 1R1 drills, apparently, for 3 hours straight. But so the next part is I have to do more marketing for the gear, talk about the gear a lot more. And then on top of that, start hitting pain points of what people need. I personally think the plate carrier is there, right? I don't know if there's a lot of pain with backpacks. I'll be honest, even though I said this in the very beginning. I like how everything I said, in my opinion, everything I've said, it's like, wait a minute, does he say A and then 3 seconds later say actually B? Like that's like my conversation tone is like, hey, it's A, but maybe B, but it could be C, but probably A, but maybe B, right? I want to go like Lucas. I just want to one day just be like, the sky is blue, and anyone who says it's purple is retarded. And then the next day go, the sky is purple, and anyone who says it's blue is retarded. And when someone goes, there's literally a video of you saying the opposite, I go, it sucks to suck. That's what I want to say. I want to do that. Like, I want to have that mindset. But anyways, so my next one is just attack what I believe to be like over expensive pain points. So I think my 2 goals is, 1, a sub $100 plate carrier, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My idea for that was, you guys know, whenever you go to Big 5 and they have that big lobster cage in the middle of the, or not Big 5, like a Bass Pro Shop, and they have that lobster cage in the middle of a store, and it has like fleece blankets in it.
Yeah.
And it's like in a little tent bag, and there's just a whole stack of them, and it has a little sign that says $19.99 on it, and you grab it and you just pick up and you grab like a fleece throw blanket.
Yeah.
I want my plate carrier in that. Right? Like, I want you to walk up to Bass Pro Shop, and then I want on the outside of the bag, I want a sheet of nylon that has the color. It says like a coyote color. It's green, right? Maybe not, because then it cuts back on the universality of the package. But the point is, I want a lobster cage full of carriers, plate carriers. And the plate carrier has its own cummerbund. It's going to be a simple plate carrier, obviously, because it's going to have to be. But I want that plate carrier wrapped in the cummerbund, and I want it all fitting inside a little tent bag, like a little stuff sack. That's like the size of like a laptop.
Yep.
Like break in case of government overthrow sort of stuff.
Or to be honest, honestly, do you want me to say something that will really make everyone run?
Yeah.
You could probably fit a Spiritus or an AC1, or that you could probably roll one of those up and fit it in a tent bag. They're not like the thickest carriers.
No, they're not. Absolutely no.
Right. Like what is it? The Spiritus? What's the one that everybody jerks off all the time?
The overt.
Spiritus, the what?
They have overt and covert. The overt.
Let's just say either way. The Spirit. What's the one that everyone loves?
Probably the covert. Covert was the first one that really became popular. It's their version of it, kind of like the Pharaoh Slickster, like that.
Okay. So like the covert, right? But isn't that so? Like that. The thing about right now, couldn't you take that and if you were to roll it tight, couldn't you fit that in a little stuff sack?
Probably, yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's just like a single sheet of Cordura. That's all it is. It's like a single sheet of Cordura turned around and sewn together. It really is that, right? So going back to the idea, I go on tangents, but the answer is the number one, a sub $100 plate carrier, right? Mm-hmm. Velcro field that I would say probably very close to an AC1, basically that,
yeah,
but $100,
yeah,
right? And just in a cart, and then you go, and then now with that, right? If I get the numbers on that. That's the one where I could probably use Cordura. I could probably even use Cordura on that one, even though that would bring the price up a little bit. Well, it doesn't really matter, but I can still use the Codra. Doesn't really matter. But that's the one where I can make all the fucking crazy camo patterns I want.
You like the splatter and splinter and
right and fleck torn and whatever the hell because it's $100.
Black multicam.
Right, I can make whatever I want in that one.
Oh, you gotta be that way.
Then that one it would still have all the spots. Like it would, but the thing about plate carriers are not that much different, right? Is that it would still have the front. So maybe it wouldn't have the Mole row across the front, but it'd still have the spot for the clips.
Yeah.
So then you can go like, well, I want to use your Vicarian kit in whatever, gay frog tan, whatever the hell people want. Right. I go, okay, well, buy the Vicarian and Coyote and then just go buy the gay frog tan quarry and plate carrier, right? The Voss Nima, go buy that and then use that plate bag with all the shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense?
No, that's
perfect.
It's like kind of a I would say a cheaper, like a way to customized, maybe a better way to use
Yeah.
it.
So like the Vicarian will have like 4 base colors, right? I might throw the Woodland out for like a fun jab, but like realistically, it'll be like, hey, the Vicarian's going to come in Ranger, Coyote, Black, and like I said, I'll probably do, like I said, multicam and Woodland coming up, but probably moving forward just multicam, right? Like just multicam. Like that's the base. Then from there, I'm just going to make $100 plate carrier of any fucking crazy camo you want. So that way you can just get that and that's your plate bags. By the way, I don't think anyone else sells plate bags for $100.
No.
Right. So then those plate bags come together, and then I can even probably have a little cummerbund in there that you can just pop off. So that way you can buy the Vicarian and then go, but I want this crazy fucking camel one. Okay, yeah, here's a plate bag. It's fine. You can pop all the clips and shit off the Vicarian. You can put on this plate bag, and the plate bag that it might even just be the Vicarian plate bags. But my idea is $100 plate carrier. And then what I want to do to get rid of more of that is to frame out the Phoenix, possibly. And then the next part would be a battle belt that comes with 2 rifle mags, 3 pistol mags, a tearaway medical pouch, and probably a dump pouch, and maybe a GP pouch for under $150.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I mean, because just jumping on the Pharaoh Slickster, and we've talked about it before. I mean, just the base run-of-the-mill Pharaoh Slickster is $160.
Right.
You know, and that is nothing more than a plate bag up front, a plate bag in the back, and a cummerbund holding it to your chest.
I think
does the Slickster, it doesn't have a rear flap, right?
Nope, it doesn't.
It doesn't. Okay. That makes, so I guess the Emerson FCS was based on that one. Or at least inspired by. So that's what I'd like to do. So my goal is to like get the infantry loadout, like get that loadout where you go on. The only thing I wish I could supply holsters, but they would just jack the price up too much. Where you could just go on Rebels Raiders and you go, I mean, probably backpack, but that's going to be working as you go backpack, plate carrier, sling, battle belt. And you're like $600, $500, $600. So post, go and go, right? You get all the shit and go. Like I want to cut back, and that's why I'm kind of mad about the Phoenix with that tariff, because I want to keep it together. I don't want to break it up. Is I don't want, because like even right now, let's just go back to the favorite guy I keep talking about, T-Rex Arms, right? Yep. What his website is basically, now he has his own stuff. All it is LA police gear, but without the shit. That's all it is, right? I mean, because he has everything. He has targets. He has. So it really is just a retailer that features his own stuff, right? But the bulk of it is everybody else's shit. It's Aimpoint, it's Trijicon, it's these targets, it's stuff that he's tested, right? So it's just an influencer shop is what it is, which is, I'm not saying anything bad about that. I'm going, when I look at this, I go, no, I want to Teslafy this experience. Rebels Raiders, backpack, belt, sling, plate carrier. Add a cart, gone. So by the time you're done jerking off on someone else's website, looking to figure out if your helmet, if your wings fit your plate placard and what mark version you need, you go, by the time you're, but it takes like on my website, and I got to do it, but you go, I got a plate carrier, chest rig, micro rig, battle belt with all the pouches, rifle sling, medical bag, and backpack that is a helmet carrier that can. So right now, I'm just as kitted as a Marine, minus basically hard armor and weapon, which I can actually get into my next thing I want to talk about, but is minus hard armor and weapon. I am almost equipped as a U.S. infantryman in the Marine Corps or Army at Central Issuing Facility, and I'm not breaking a G.
Yeah, it's Mark and I, while we were talking, you were saying that I think we were scouring the internet. I think the closest thing you got is SKD's pig stuff that might be comparable to that, but again, I think everyone has done this when they were looking at buying their first plate carrier. It's it's either you go on Spiritus or you go on Velocity Systems, and you're paying almost $900 to $1,000 just to get a plate carrier set up with that can hold 3 mags.
Right.
And it's fucking outlandish. Like that's the best way I can describe
And I
it.
know I can do it better. I
Yes.
know I can do it better, and I believe I've gotten there at least 9. I believe I've gotten there. And sorry, go ahead.
It sounds like what you're trying to build is I don't know when you were in the Marines, but a lot of the days you get your assault pack, and inside has the infantryman kit, and it has your taps, it has the X harness, it has all the pouches that you could ever fucking need on a taps rig in it as well. And it seems like this is a one-stop shop. Here's a assault pack. Everything inside is what you need outside a plate carrier. It sounds like you're trying to recreate that for a civilian space.
Exactly. And with that, since it's all open-ended, like I made sure my sling was open-ended. I made sure the buckles work with everything. There's Velcro and everything, so you can mount it anyways. The Apothecary is a good example of that. Everything works with itself. I want to encroach on other people's territory, which I have to probably get used to them getting mad at me. Yeah. Because when people go, oh, I popped off your plaque, like they're like, oh, well, I like the Klein better placard than yours. So I go, no, fuck yeah, perfect. Because my gear's gonna come in and just take over little spots. Because you're gonna go, well, maybe I like this placard better, but it fits on my Vicarian. I like the Vicarian better, so I'm gonna put this on. Right. So I like the fact that when someone goes, but I have all my Haley stuff, and I like Haley. I've met him, and he did not seem to enjoy my company, but I thought he was cool. I go, yeah, it works with everything. So I want to have that central issuing facility where my goal long term is when someone buys a new gun, they go, what should I get? You can just post goat and go to Rebels Raiders. Go to Rebels Raiders and buy it all. Right? Buy it all right there. And then now the hard part about that is because it's a tactical industry and everyone suffers from restless gear and rifle syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is people then go, well, the Vicarian's a good starter kit. And I go, okay, but what's the Vicarian not doing that the fucking JPC's doing? Right? Like, tell me, like,
maybe I don't like. That's what the big thing is. A lot of if you are if you're airborne qualified and actively jumping, a lot of the kit that has to be airborne certified. So if you're doing that, yeah, maybe your stuff isn't what it's meant for, but out of the vast majority of people that are in this space are not active duty airborne.
Now you've embarrassed me. I want to know what makes the JPC jump qualified, because I'll do it for the Vicarian.
That's what the JPC. I think it's like jump plate carrier. I think that's the only reason that
I thought that was a marketing thing.
My understanding is that stuff has to be jump certified, because I remember the Malice. It was a couple of years ago. Malice, the Tactical Tailor Malice kit, finally became like jump certified, and it was a huge deal. Now it could be just because it's a ruck. I am going to say this as I'm a dirty leg. I am not airborne certified, so I don't know 1,000% what I'm saying is true, but my understanding is that stuff has to be jump certified for you to wear it.
Well, then all right, I'm incorrect.
New goal.
Burn
a Lamborghini, get jump master certified.
If you are jumping out of an airplane anytime soon with all your kit on, if you're in the 82nd, 173rd, or 101st for everybody more. So 82nd or 173rd, or I think that's only 2 airborne units we have, right? 82nd and 173.
Technically, the 101st Airborne is still airborne because they have their own riggers, but that's a rabbit hole we can go down later.
All right, so 101, 82nd Airborne, 173. For now, you guys can buy the Vicarian. If you're in those units, you can buy the Vicarian, you can wear it, but you're probably not allowed to wear personal shit anyways. But if you want to, for civilian, it's great. But besides being jumpable, I don't know what the Vicarian's not doing that in this case, if I can't use a JPC because you can jump with it, but I don't know what the Vicarian doing that the AC1's not doing.
Well, and that's what's crazy about this, like this space. You hit it right on the head right there, where you say, it's a good starter kit, and then you need to upgrade later on to Spiritus, Haley, T-Rex arms, velocity systems. I can understand if you are in some sort of like law enforcement, you are doing something where you wear a plate carrier 24/7, and hey, you just got the job, you need to buy something for now, and then maybe 5-10 years from now buy something different because you have like different needs. Sure, I get it.
But why wouldn't you wear a Vicarian if you're a cop? What's wrong with it?
Because our department won't let me wear a Vicarian.
Oh, because it's like on the list. But I'm okay.
No, it's more of a lot. I say this from my department standards. Most of our stuff is we have a soft armor and it's the zip front, so Vicarian wouldn't really work. One, and then two, we're not allowed to have we don't have personalized pouches on our kit allowed.
Okay, so then
so
that's because it's a department restriction, but we're not talking about the inherent part that the Vicarian can't do. Well, no. I guess saying, but you're saying the department needs a soft insert.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's a but yeah, if you bought this in black and set it up for law enforcement, it will 100% work.
Okay, that's my question. So the answer is that there's like some specific things that people need. Like, no, I don't have that. By the way, most plate carriers probably don't have removable soft armor. Yeah. But I would go if there's some. Okay, so then there. Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about. I can't get a fucking sentence out. Is I go. So I guess there is specifics, but that's what I'm saying. Like the overarching broad of people who have plate carriers. Like, when people say starter kit, you go, well, what's it doing that the other one can't?
Yeah. What's the upgrade and what is $1,000 extra going to get you? And it's going to be nothing. It's outside the I guess clout of having Spiritus or having Velocity or having pick whatever industry or whatever company you want.
Now I do agree though when you said that but you're comparing it to the Emerson and the stuff that you see on Amazon.
Yeah.
And then I go, but that's what Rebels Raiders is I'm sure to get those Emerson prices and go, no, I can do it good. How do I do it good? I just don't make any fucking money.
I'm broke, but you guys get good gear, so everyone wins.
Yeah, that's like basically it. Now I've done enough fucking babbling on that shit. This is why I got it. This is what I gotta like. I gotta Trumpify my discussions, right? Like you gotta talk about your strength. Because this is. But by the way, now again, I think, and I babble too fucking much, but I think you can look at the design of my gear and you go, no, this guy really focuses on weaknesses. Right? You could look at the backpack and go, I harp on weaknesses because that's what I like to attack and improve.
Yeah.
So that's what I go over.
It's always good to hear like every company that you talk to will talk about how wonderful their stuff is, how it's the best thing you can get on the market, and understanding that is how marketing works. Unfortunately, it's always good to hear someone's like, this is a fantastic product. But I want to make it better. So let me know how I can make it better. It's always a good approach when it comes to company, like when it comes to being in what you're doing. I don't even know how to describe what you're doing.
I don't know either. Because even now I speak. This is kind of why I like doing these things. Even though I can go on for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Is I kind of getting these ideas out there to bounce them off to go, okay, what's going on? But I'll be honest, because then what happens with nylon then gets compared, I believe, with a false equivalency to other pieces, right? So then you start saying like you said, the differences in other things or they're not. I don't know where you walk away with the Vicarian going, hey, this is $240, but then when Spiritus is $800 for the same about the stuff, or $700, and then you go, okay, this is where I like this piece, right? This is where I think $460 came from.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go.
And I think a lot of it boils down to the concept that if it is inexpensive, then obviously it's cheap.
Inferior.
Yeah, exactly. Which is the same reason why when Glock, way back in the early 80s, when they first introduced the Glock 19 or the Glock 17.
I have a Gen 1. I have the original.
Exactly.
I have a Gen 1, yeah.
They were going to market it at like, I don't know, $300. And they were told that if you do that, you will be laughed out of the industry because nobody will buy it. Nobody's going to buy a Tupperware gun that's inexpensive. So they like started at $500 or whatever it was at the time, and created a quote unquote premium firearm with a premium price, and just influenced people into believing that they were getting additional value out of that product because they're paying more than something that was similar,
God, I
and
was like in PSYOP, people into paying more money. God.
yeah.
Or I don't, because I know what I'm supposed to do with the fuck. I want to burn a Lamborghini anyway, so what's the point? Like I said, all this is to me is exit to the gift shop, but I don't even know what the point was anymore. I'm like, all right, I guess my point is my dad, I just go back to my dad going, I want people to have good gear. So I guess past all the fluff and past all my schizophrenic ramblings that go on nowhere, I think the end result is that's it. I want people to have good, great gear at good prices. That's it. And then, I mean, fuck it, whatever. I'm not going to make any money anyways. Fucking, it's like that. I'm a loser now. It's not going to fucking change. So fuck it, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
Hey, what's everyone saying on the internet? Yeah. 20, was it the top 20% of men are getting all the chicks? I'm like, well, I'm not in that 20%. So fuck it. Hang out in the 80s, whatever. Crazy eights. Let's go. I ain't getting up in that. I'm not going to jump in that 20% anytime soon. So, yeah, that's really all I can think about. I don't know. Maybe I'm babbling. Wish I had more coherentness to it, but it's all I can think about is just like, just people like stuff they can afford.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. You found something that that works. We've proven that it works because you sold a 40-foot container full of these things in just a matter of days. Now it is, how can I make it better and still, maintain exactly what I'm doing? What are some of the things that we need to improve on here? This small little thing here or this small little thing there. How do I improve on it, but still provide that same value to people? And I think that that's probably where you're doing things right, is because you're driving yourself insane saying, okay, how do I make it better? So I think it's a positive thing from my perspective.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I really wish I was just an OnlyFans manager.
Wait, they have managers?
Yeah.
That's the new one because I don't know if you go on. Thing is, I bet you everyone's Instagram feed is full of like guns and whatever the fuck everyone watches. Mine is just full of scammers in Miami just selling lifestyle courses. Like that's my entire fucking feed, and just rage bait on the reels. So my doom scrolling is some 23-year-old like moron who's like 6'6" and 250 pounds of just muscle talking about how like you need to kill it and you need to grind and hustle.
You got to lock in. You got to dip your face in Saratoga water.
Yeah, like that's what's funny is I didn't see that, but basically it's that shit. It's all that, and that's what I actually want to do. Like I really do want to do that. Like I just like that. I like that environment of just scammers and OnlyFans and just all that. I like. I'm a goat. I like being in the muck. I like it. I don't know. That's what I like to do. And that way you don't care about anybody. You don't have to worry about value. I can just run around Miami, my Miami apartment with all these, Shopify orders I don't fulfill, and I just spend all the money. I think I should. Like, I like that. I like the idea of that. I do. Because in the tactical industry, I have to like do all this like I have to wear quad nods that say don't buy them. I have to like do all this stupid shit where I go like, I'm in the military, but the military's bad, but it's also good, but also special forces, they got to suck their cocks, but also the military's bad because of taxes, but tariffs are great. I have to like play like 40 different fucking fiddles at all times. And I'm like, okay, because everyone's schizophrenic and just says whatever gets some likes and clicks. So I'm already losing my mind. You can already tell. I'm like, I'm like fucking Toontown over here. You're like, oh my God, this guy is terminally online. He's like going slowly insane. That's kind of, I don't know. It's hard for me to tell.
So
half of me is just like at the end of this podcast, be like, it's over. The other half is just take the money and be done with it, dude. Just go to Miami. Just go to Miami and buy the Lambo. Don't light it on fire. Just delete the channels. Everyone will forget you in a fucking week anyway.
Well, then what's going to happen is then like 2-3 years later, someone's going to buy like a eBay auction of a 40-foot container of Rebels Raider gear.
The Rebels Raiders gear, right?
Flip it, and
the
then
process starts all over again.
No, another manic depressive screaming online about the AC1.
Maybe the AC1 isn't your Jumanji. Buying that can I 40-foot container was your Jumanji. You bought it and opened it up, and it's the cycle continues.
I'm sure there's no investors, nothing riding on it, so I'm sure I'll be fine. I'm probably gonna lay off Twitter a little bit. It's probably driving me insane, but the future is just trying to get an affordable. God damn this. Okay, I guess that's good. Just quality, great. I mean, I got to say something punchier, but I'm like just quality gear at good prices. That's it. Just that. And
the Walmart of tactical gear.
I don't want to make that comparison. I want to say the Corvette of tactical gear.
Okay.
The Corvette. That's what I like to say. Corvette, where you look at it and you go, dude, this Corvette, is it going to be, because the reason why I say Corvette is a Corvette's not a cheap car, right? Because someone can go, I can get your stuff off, I can get this plate carrier off Temu for cheaper. Right? Yeah. You can go on Amazon and eBay and you can get cheaper than me. Not that much cheaper, but you can go cheaper. But I go, but a Corvette's not a cheap car. But a Corvette for what you're paying is pretty much a supercar on a budget.
Yeah.
Right? A Corvette Z06 is like $60,000 and you can smoke Ferraris.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. The answer, because some people will go, well, why not? I mean, I'm not saying some people, but because that's what I'm saying. The Corvette, no one's going to look at a Corvette and go, that's a cheap car. But you're going to go, that's probably the best value you're going to get for a car. Now, I understand that. I'm not saying the utility of it. Corvette's kind of a useless fucking car, right? You really can't do much with it besides go fast. And I think it's only valuable if you live near a beach, really. But the answer is that's where I want to be, like the Corvette, where you go, yeah, this is the best value buy you're going to get is Rebels Raiders gear.
So we have about less than 10 minutes left. I did want to get some pointed questions to you before we have to let you go.
Ask all of them.
Number one, why a goat? Where did the goat come from?
So the goat is actually a long story. So my mother always wanted goats. We went out and bought 4 of them. Yeah. Unfortunately, 2 passed away. But that really sucks. But the goats, my mom wound up not really liking them.
Okay, that sounds about normal. Yeah,
I fucking love them. They are the funniest shit ever. They don't give a fuck about anything at all. They just want to eat and like shit and just walk around all day and chew that cud. They just want to chew the hay and they just jump on stuff and make funny noises. So I thought it was fucking hilarious. I thought they were funny. And then when I started taking pictures of Rebel, people liked it. And then there's a picture that I have right here of this famous photo where he's wearing the backpack and then the shema on. Mm-hmm. And it's just so iconic that I said, well, you know what? I took a picture of this and I thought it was funny. And then I made my little Nordic thing, which I think was probably the next question. And again, I just did that because it was funny. It's based off the brother, I seek the forbidden lamp meme. And I thought it was funny to roll with that. And then with the next part being said, when I looked at Rebel, I said, you know what everybody fucking does, which is stupid? Everyone just throws quad nods and a fast helmet on anything. And then they make it, this is like 2016, 17 goon shit. Yeah. So I was like, they just throw quad nods on a skeleton on anything. So what if I put it on a goat? That'll be funny. And I put it on a goat and people bought the merch. And people started saying the goats. And then I said, well, I love animals. I started doing goat rescue. So it just kept going from there and people liked it. So I just rolled with it.
You do goat rescue?
Yeah, we've saved 2 of them. So we have Bleeding Hearts Farm I did with Kenai. So Bleeding Hearts Farm was being hit by California taxes on their property. So I raised $20,000 in December actually, about $20,000 to save Bleeding Hearts Farm. And any shirt, I'm even wearing a goat shirt right now. Any shirt on my store that has goat goes right to charity. So if it has a goat on it, I put the profits for charity, which by the way, every year I overdo anyway. So yeah, I mean, I pay more than people buying the goat shirts, but So then there's that. Then there's Bleeding Hearts Farm, Puget Sound Goat Rescue, and Old Goats Home, who I routinely donate to. None of them have anything to do with guns. In fact, like I don't think Old Goats Home and I agree on anything, like at all politically.
Yep.
And then in last year of December of last year, so only a few months ago, right? Only about 4 months ago now. Charlotte's Farm was a farm in New Jersey. This is in December. By the way, this happened during Christmas, literally during Christmas. I'm fucking not even kidding you. It's a animal goat sanctuary called Charlotte's Farm in New Jersey. And they were a nonprofit. And then the developer of a condominium, which I'm usually for, but a developer was paying off a politician to then buy their land from them, which is a rescue, to then build condos on their land in Christmas. That's literally a Hallmark movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
So then someone made me aware of it, and I was like, oh shit, that's fucked up. I'm not gonna let that stand. I made a post about it, about how they basically sectioned off. It's a long story short. They sectioned off a piece of their land and said, well, because you have people, because they had a medic like little home on there, but it was like a place where the medic would go and treat the goats and shit. And they're like, oh no, this is private property. We're going to tax your entire land at the private property tax rate. Oh, and on top of which you have to pay it by December or else you forfeit your land. They literally had to pay the tax bill on December 27th, like 2 days after Christmas. Jeez. So I made a post going, fuck, I don't know what we're going to do to help these people. I made a post online and the Goat Gang had it funded literally by the next day.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Wow.
So that's the second goat sanctuary that we've saved. Then on top of which, I routinely, at this point, I have the joke where I say if I put the charity bar up on the profile, it gets full, which I love the Goat Gang. As much as I talk about the industry, I absolutely adore the Goat Gang. I love everybody in it. And I'm very thankful to them for the success they've given me. It really means a lot to me. It's hard to even talk about because it means a lot. Yeah. That the Goat Gang has done for me. And every time I put up a charity bar, the Goat Gang gets it filled. So, yeah, we do a lot to save animal rescues and stuff like that.
That's
like
awesome.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, that's, not gonna lie. After our first, hour and a half talk with you, and now we seem very passionate about saving goat sanctuaries, which is, it's the two sides of the tism, I guess. But,
yeah, what the fuck else are you gonna do with the money? Like, what? I mean, honestly, like. No. I mean, that's the next part I wanted to which I probably should have added to Rebels Raiders as part of the future. Is I've always wanted to start the Goat Fund, which is to be a privately managed fund to help people pay for their medical bills and all this bullshit medical debt that people acquire, and help people pay for basically medical bills, like to get people's medical debt, which is a fucking crime that we have this in this country. But anyways, like to have that, because what I have friends who are wealthy. What the fuck what am I mean, yeah, do I want a Santa Monica apartment? Yeah, I do. Do I want to look out at the ocean and have a nice car? Yeah, I want to have those things, but the second I get them, I'm gonna fucking hate them.
You're gonna want the next thing.
Yeah, so then what's the point? Like my friend who's worth, and I love them, but the family's worth hundreds of millions, and they're always like, well, how much are we gonna make? I'm like, what do you mean how much you have more? You could own a fucking planet. When did you stop?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't know. And this goes again. But anyway, so the point is, yeah, I like the charity stuff. Makes you feel good. It just makes you feel good. So you go, well, then it's actually not charity. It makes you feel good. Then okay, great. Then I'm a horrible person. I don't know what to fucking tell you. But you're like, wow, you spend way too much time in like philosophy and Twitter. But
no.
Yeah, the Goat Gang really has made me. It's again outside of charity. The Goat Gang has really made me successful, and ability for Rebels Raiders to reinvest in charity, which is something I cannot like overstate or underappreciate. But next question. Sorry.
No, I actually, I don't got
that pretty much lines it up. Yeah,
it was just I had a curious why a goat, and then I got an awesome story about everything from. So it was Rebel the goat's name that your mom?
Yeah, it's Rebel. That's literally his goat's name is Rebel.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's his name. And the other one's Gizmo. But the problem is Rebel. The reason why this picture looks so great is because he froze in place.
Mm-hmm.
I took the photo.
Yeah.
Right. Because he was scared. So, but it looked good. But Gizmo, whenever I put gear on him, he always tries to hug you or come up to you or get attention, so you can't take good photos of him. So it's not. But I named the sling after him, the Gizmo glider. Right. That's named after him. But yeah, Rebel is the goat. That's literally Rebel.
But Gizmo's Raiders doesn't sound as good.
Right, Gizmos Glazers, which is just gay. So there's
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But the Gizmo Glider for a sling is good.
I mean, if you weren't a tactical company, if you sold like lube or something, maybe that would work. But
Gizmos Glaze, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll talk to Bexar Arms and do the bear blood, but just rename it Gizmos Glaze.
Ooh.
Well, we're gonna start wrapping this up. We're quickly approaching the 2-hour mark.
Yeah, and I've been babbling for that entire time.
No, it's been great. It's been great just to hear kind of and peel back the layers on everything that you've been doing over these last many months. But as always, we love to dish it over to our guests to just kind of give us our closing, like 30 seconds. What's your folksy wisdom that you'd like to bestow on the world if you had 30 seconds left?
The best luck is the luck you make for yourself.
There you go. That's good.
General Douglas MacArthur.
Yep. 100%.
Oh, is it my turn now?
It's your turn. Yeah.
Ooh, I don't have anything today.
Nothing?
I had something and I lost it because I was like my heart was got like warmed by this goat story. Got warmed up by this goat story. So,
all right, fine. Well, just save it for next time. We'll give you 2.
Okay, I'll take 2 next time.
So mine will be you were born an original, so why are you going to be a copycat? Go be an original, right? So that's what I've got to say. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and close things down. Rebel, thank you so much for taking the time this evening to jump in. Like I said, last minute and help us out with this podcast. It's been great. And Kalash Bash is coming up this coming week, and your plate carrier is what I will be wearing for the armored division. So hopefully getting some more data points and some more time in it, so I can provide you with some more information as well.
That'd be great.
Yeah. So we appreciate everybody sticking with us for this long into this podcast. We really do appreciate everybody's support along the way. As mentioned, thank you to XS Sites. If you guys are interested, check out the 20% discount. We'll have all of RÈBÈLs RÄIDÈRs information down in the description as well. So swing by and check those links out. But we'll get out of here. And as always, don't forget to live, laugh, and LARP. Let it go.